Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Cindy Lynn here. In today's episode, we are going to be doing our backsplash here at the Barndominium. If you watched last week's episode, we did the occupancy inspection along with a walkthrough of mostly finished Barndominium. We did have a few items to finish up before we could move in after we had the inspection and they gave us the okay that we could move in. We still don't have appliances, but we wanted to go ahead and get that backsplash installed. And so as you can see here in the videos, we couldn't decide on the type, style, and color of the backsplash. So we just went to several of the big box stores, picked up about 15 different samples and tile styles and colors. We just laid them around all around the counter space until we could figure out exactly which one that look the best with our style and preferences that we wanted to go with. So my original intention was to do two separate backsplashes, one with the beverage bar and then one with the kitchen counter area. I did change my mind on that. We wanted to have like a whole uniform look over the entire kitchen area. So we picked out this Gray Arabesque from Lowe's. That's what we ended up going with after we left the samples just sitting around on the counter space for several weeks. It helped us narrow it down. Might be something you want to consider as well. So as always, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Give us a like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. What you doing?
Hey. What, nothing? What's this called?
Backsplash. We're in the final stages of barnization.
Cut pieces, cut pieces, cut pieces, cut pieces.
No, this one you've gone faster than the bar section though. I mean, seriously, the bar took you like 3 hours. You've only been working on this for an hour and a half, maybe.
Oh, really? Yeah.
2 hours. I mean, it didn't.
I did pre-cut a bunch.
Yeah, that's probably why. So it's probably you probably have 2 hours total.
And 3 panels left.
Ooh, are you gonna make it?
Yeah, well, I got that right.
That's what I thought. Okay. I didn't know how much you had to cut up though.
Maybe. So. I mean, literally, that would be horrible running out.
We'll see how the grout looks because we have a light gray. I'm glad because I think the white would be too bright. I think it would stand out too much. I wanted to kind of stay subtle. So.
My little cutting boards.
So the hardest part about doing these kind. Let's see, the name of this one. There's what it is. This one came from Lowe's, didn't it, Tony?
Yeah. Yep.
There's what she looks like packed up. We did originally want like a stone background, but we were worried that it would be too thick for the sockets, and I don't know. What were some other concerns?
Yeah,
the thickness.
The sockets really drove me nuts because it's hard to, and they're uneven.
Yes. Yeah, the stone are very uneven.
The sockets will push on there and be fine.
Yes.
The stone is uneven, so how do you get a socket with a plate on there without seeing the box and the size? Yeah.
And cutting it too. Cutting the uneven stone is going to be harder than these little glass tiles. Or porcelain. I think these are porcelain, not glass.
They look glass,
yeah,
though,
they do, and they sound like glass, but I guess porcelain kind of has the same sound.
When I cut them, I found out they were actually porcelain. So.
Yeah, it does say porcelain on there. I'm pretty sure. It says it somewhere. I don't know if you look them up online. I think it might say. Any other tricks to these? Sometimes you got to cut each individual piece out to fill in, right?
Use very thin lines with your mortar.
Oh, okay.
Very thin. If you go too thick, when you push them in, it'll squish out those little cracks. Like right in there, there's one. So then I have to take a small screwdriver or a wooden stick.
And clean it out.
Run it in there and clean it out. Once I get all these on, I'll go around with a stick or a small screwdriver, and I'll just walk around and clean out any crevice that's got mortar sticking out of it. Because that mortar's white, and we're using a gray. You know, plus I'll clean all the. Yeah,
we're using the gray grout, so you don't want the white mortar shining through with the gray grout. Because it's going to harden up. So you want to try to get it before it hardens up.
You got about 24 hours and she'll harden up.
And then you also want to prep your site like Tony did here. So he has a good prep. He has the plastic with the blue painter's tape.
Now if you look over here, you don't put it all the way back.
Yes, because you're
yourself about a 1/4 of an inch. Because the tile has to sit there. So you got a tile that's going to sit there.
And you want to be able to pull that.
And then also you're going to have your grout.
Yes.
So holding it back's fine. You just clean it off with the wet grit with the wet mop sponge,
and you can leave your prep work. So do this in the very beginning before you start, and then you can also leave it for when you're going to do the grout in between the grout lines.
The grout really plops everywhere.
Yes, it does. When you're pushing it in, pieces fall off.
But when you're doing the grout, you also have to pull this off. Remove this though. Before it dries.
Way before it dries. Yes. So as soon as you're done.
Once you think you're done, take that off
immediately.
Very carefully. Then take your sponge again and go along that bottom seam to smooth out the grout on it again.
Any other tips?
Face mask it.
You need a wet saw.
Yes. Oh, you have to have a wet saw. You have to have a wet saw. Yeah.
So you can rent those, or you can buy a fairly cheap one if you're going to do a lot of tiling. The coffee bar, regular bar we did yesterday. So, all right. Well, we'll show some more when we do the grout here in a day or so. Okay, everybody. This is one of the final projects, big projects we're doing, as you can see behind us, the backsplash. Tony already did the coffee/bar section earlier today.
Grouted it.
Yes, grouted it. And then he needs my help because this one's bigger. So we're gonna tag team tackle it. And when we get this done, there's no more big projects, except for we do have to finish the poles on the front porch, the stacked stone.
Put some decorative on today.
Yeah, so, but that's gonna be a spring project. This is the last big project for us before we move in. So we're gonna tackle it tonight after work and get her done. Anything else?
Nope.
All right, well, we're gonna get to it. We'll see you on the other side. So Tony's finishing up any imperfections in the grout lines. As you can see, the best way to do it sometimes is to go through with your finger and smooth everything out. Some of the lumps and holes you can get better and more attention just by using your finger. So what we're getting ready to do now is, as you can see, it's starting to haze over. Once you get to that point where you have just a gentle wipe down with a damp sponge or cloth, You let it haze over for a couple of hours, and then you come back with a dry cloth and just wipe the rest off. It usually comes off really easy. This is non-sanded grout, so when you do a project like this, you have to make sure that you use the right type of grout for your project. This is a porcelain tile, so you don't want to use sanded grout because it could potentially scratch, especially when you're wiping off and smearing that grout all over and in between the grout lines and everything. A lot of times your backsplash will come with the directions of what type of grout that you need. One of the hardest things is to pick out the color. So we just picked like a kind of light gray silver color. We could have went with white. Of course, your grout lines are going to show up more if you pick a really light color up against your tiles, or if you pick a really dark color. So it depends on whether you want your grout lines to stand out or not and the type of look that you're going for. If you go to the big box stores, usually you can see they have samples up on the wall of different tiles and different grout looks. They don't always have like every color, but you can kind of get an idea of what your specific type of tile might look like if they have it on display, or something fairly similar. If they have a gray color, then you can look at the type of grout that they have on their samples on the wall. So that kind of helps. We didn't want our grout lines to stick out. We kind of wanted them maybe just a little lighter than our backsplash was. And I think it looks good, so we'll see. We're going to go ahead and let it haze over as soon as Tony's done with his the final finger project here. Anything else with the grout or the tile, Tony? That tool that you were using is kind of handy.
Yeah, the key is to have all your tools ready, have your waters ready, have everything ready, because you don't want to start once you mix it. The clock is ticking. So. Yeah. Prep is your friend. I mean, there's as much prep as there is work. So.
And make sure that you turn your electricity off. So if you noticed earlier it was really dark in here, we have turned it back on just so we could get some better lighting to see, because there was a lot of shadows. We still have most of these sockets off. There's only one over here that we couldn't get because it turned the lights off, so we had to turn it back on, so we're being careful there. So just make sure that you take your safety precautions to heart and follow everything, because of course you don't want anyone getting hurt. But anyway, we're gonna continue on because we are almost finished. We're gonna come back here in just a little bit, an hour or so, and get the rest of this wiped off once it dries and completely hazes over. So we're excited about the finished project. Okay, it's dark in here again. Daddy turned the electric back off so he could get around the one light switch socket up there. Sure is messy too. Be prepped for messiness. Stuff gets everywhere. That's still pretty messy up in there, isn't it? I guess it's a banana for supper tonight. I need to take a shower. Yeah, it's starting to look good now. It takes a while because there's lumps and holes and